welcome to the first episode of Stockholm Rebuilds, episode 00. This is going to be an interesting example of how you can play City Skylines. Mine is more for telling a story over time versus emphasizing on how a city should be built. It's more of how a city could be built if one person's perspective kind of controlled everything. And I mean, that's kind of how City Skylines is, but I don't know. Let's see how it goes. So this is just a simple plan of what I plan on doing that's on screen. I'm not going to get really detailed because it pretty much explains everything on there. I will say that the forestry and the farming and the IT cluster and the park did change. Everything else pretty much happened. So obviously there's some other things that aren't on here. It's just essentially showing what the locations and districts are going to be. Anyways, I didn't want this part to be too long, but I did want to emphasize that it was important to include it because this was part of it, part of the whole explaining and everything and me kind of getting things together. But I don't want this to be too long, so I'm going to leave this on screen for a long enough time to where, I mean, you could pause it. So anyways, that's pretty much it. I'm going to get into the build. So here I am. I'm just measuring out the distance that I want to come in on the shorelines. And then I'm doing the same thing down here. I'm just taking a little bit longer. This takes me a while. Just fair warning, this is after the fact. I'm voicing over this because somehow my audio got messed up, so unfortunately this is the audio that we have. But the nice thing about that, I can explain more things because I'm not having to worry about really watching the video. But here, like, the reason why there's the orange panel, I think on like the last video, the last 30-minute video, I finally removed the spot that normally my camera would be. I decided not to do that. I just wanted to do a voiceover. I didn't want to have two videos to worry about. I'm a technical person. I'm just not that technical. And as a future event, this will be removed, and that's kind of what I'm explaining. And I'm also explaining that I messed up because my settings were off. As you can see, they're just on the normal mode. They should be on that mode. And instead of using the Control-Z function that mod I have, I decided to delete it for some odd reason. So anyways, you'll watch me delete it and then I'll replace it all just so it's not messed up. And this will be a long and arduous process. I'm kind of just going to explain that's what I'm doing, and you'll see it on the other side, but I think it might just be a little bit too arduous to watch. So once I get to the point where I'm going to the other side, I'm just going to fast forward. It's going to be like a montage with some audio and just show me building it as it goes on. Because sometimes people like to see what you're doing, but sometimes not. And then I'm also sorry about leaving my like big tab open. That's just how I play. I don't even think about it when I'm recording. But I shrunk it down later on. And then also the fact that I block part of the screen with the orange. I'm not hiding anything. Like, I'm not trying to hide that I'm using mods. That's where my video camera would be. I don't prefer it there, but with the NVIDIA you can't. You can only put it in the corners. You can't really adjust where you put it. At least on the GeForce experience that I have with the graphics card that I have. Maybe on the newer types now you can change it. And then I'm pretty much explaining that that's kind of how I want to do it. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And I don't know. I kind of think this one's better for montage because this is really long. And I finally said it was too dark, so I adjusted the settings for it to be lighter. Makes more sense. Now that I've been on the video for 5 or so minutes, finally getting the main road set up. So once we get through the main road setup and I go to plan to do the other one, that's when I'll probably fast forward, because I end up changing it anyways. But here I'm explaining that the bush and the 2 trees that I'm next to, that's like exactly where I put it on the map that you previously seen in the beginning of the video. And a lot of this is just me talking about like how things are designed and why they're designed that way and stuff like that. Oh yeah, and then here I'm telling you that I have prop anarchy on, so I have to like delete everything all the time. And then it gets even funner later on, so. But here I'm just going to finish the road, and then we'll skip forward in time. And in the future, just so you know, they won't be voiceovers. I don't really do well on voiceovers. I don't know why. It just doesn't feel the same as like when you're live, because you're kind of not under the gun, I guess is how I put it. Whereas this, you're kind of just relaxed. You think that would be a better time to voice over a video, but in some cases it's not.
It's like a family tree, part of you and part of me. And if we should separate, go your own way, I won't wait.
Bring the funk back.
Eventually I'm going to, I'll just kind of explain stuff ahead of time. I want to start building the intersection, but I change it a little bit, having to do it twice, cutting that in like post. Like I showed the other one, I kind of speed through it. I cut out the long sections where I was like trying to figure out what else I was going to do. Because I mean, as much as I want to keep everything in the video, there's no way to make it not boring. I'm trying not to make the videos so long that because not a lot of people have a lot of time to watch videos. Sometimes people only have 5 or so minutes to watch a video, and it's like it's an hour and it takes you like 4 days to watch it. It becomes not worth it. And then also I'm still learning, so I kind of use these slowdown moments to explain stuff. The reason why I'm really heavily leaning on montages is mainly because the fact that my audio got screwed up. Usually I'll just play through and then I'll post my playthrough. But there's other times when I'm building like where it's just monotonous, same thing, where me personally, I wouldn't want to watch that for hours and hours and hours, but I still want to see it happen, like it progress on the screen. So then I use a montage to fill in that space. Here's where my recording starts to sound like the Matrix, because I had to cut so much out of it because it was too much garbage. Anyways, this is just a filler to explain that. So now I'm going to talk about something totally different, and it's going to sound completely weird. But here it is. Adjusting the road and trying to think like, what am I doing? And I'm probably explaining something here, but I cut most of the explaining out because you can't hear it. I didn't think I was going to have to do 2 explaining points in such a short time, but here I say most when I mean all audio was gone. It was screwed up and it wouldn't be usable. To make it more fluid, like it's an action, I did cut a lot of this out. I don't think I cut enough of it out, but I'm still explaining a lot. That being said, there's not much more I can talk about other than just... And this is where I completely fall off the horse and I have no idea where I was leading to, other than I had a brain fart and I wanted to leave it in because I thought it was hilarious. That's what I like to do. That's kind of what I do. I just a little bit make fun of myself and then move on from there. And I realized that the building, like how long I take to build, is really long. It takes me quite a while. I think the end result is worth it, and that's mainly on like roads and stuff and when I'm setting up. And if you want to see that in the future, that's fine, but I don't necessarily think everybody wants to see it. And when you're setting up like just roads and stuff, I don't do any fancy roads. My road setups are pretty basic, and I don't think there's anything that anybody else hasn't done. And here's the part where I'm adding in the one that I end up having to completely, for the most part, take out and then readjust and do it a different way. Because number one, I didn't like how it looked, like a big W with the center W looking really weird, and it was too high. I couldn't use it. So then I tear it out and I do it a different way, and I think the other way ended up actually looking pretty cool, in my opinion. But this is about the point I wonder where and why is there just red cars on my road. I knew that this was just going to be bad things to come. So I'm like trying to figure out how am I going to take care of this. And I think eventually I end up like just completely blocking the entire road off. This was an interesting way of solving the issue. Anyways, I'm just going to go back to a montage and finish off with that. And that's the rest of the video. Have a good